Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Today we're unboxing the TicWatch Pro 3 made by Mavoy. And this is going to be a really cool product. And yes, this is going to be one of those videos where I talk a little bit before we actually open the box because there's a bit to talk about with this one. And the reason for that is because it's the first smartwatch to use the Snapdragon Wear 4100. Now, what is the Snapdragon Wear 4100? It's Qualcomm's new Wear OS chipset, and let's put it this way. Android Wear, which is now Wear OS, launched in 2014. This is the first major change to the chipset that was used since then. In about 6 years, this is the first major change. Those first watches, most of them, launched with a Snapdragon 400. Except for the Moto 360 that actually used TI OMAP 3 or something. But yeah, Snapdragon 400. Snapdragon 400 is a smartphone chipset, or was, because honestly it's not really used anymore. The Snapdragon 4 series has been revved time and again. So, it's been 6 years, right? But so obviously it was a smartphone chipset because the smartwatch category really wasn't there yet. So now that it was there, Qualcomm came out with the smartwatch chipset, and that was the Snapdragon Wear 2100. The only thing about the 2100 is that it was kind of based on the Snapdragon 210, which is kind of the same as a Snapdragon 400. It's it's still ARM Cortex A7, which is very low power. It's not a very powerful chip. Then came Snapdragon Wear 3100. Now we're talking 2018. Still Cortex A7, and that's the problem, right? That's what, when I say that the architecture has not changed in 6 years. It's been Cortex A7 this whole time. They did make changes, of course. The 3100 had some cool stuff. It had a big, small, tiny architecture, and what that does is it allowed for better power management and colors on the always-on display. But now they finally announced the Snapdragon Wear 4100. This thing is Cortex A53. So you're going to see massive, massive improvements in performance for Wear OS. And that's something that Wear OS desperately needed when compared to its competitors. Samsung with its Tizen watches does great. Apple with the Apple Watch does great because they're running custom chips. Like Samsung makes its own chips. Maybe not custom for the particular product, but they make their own chips and they know what they're making it for. Apple has custom chips. Huawei, custom chips, and these watches are great. The performance is great. So Wear OS is obviously a broader platform, and their chips come from Qualcomm, and I'm really excited about this. I've been waiting for an actual generational change in Snapdragon Wear for some time, and the TicWatch is the first to use this new processor. And like I said, massive performance improvements. And also, by the way, Wear OS is getting a big update later this year. There's nothing on the outside of this. All right. Wear OS is getting a big update later this year that's also supposed to just have general performance and stability improvements. So, that's one of the things that's kind of broken about Wear OS. You get these weird animations that are just like you'll launch an app, you'll see it animate to expand, then it closes, and then it opens again, and it's just really frustrating. It's just not pleasant. It's not frustrating. It's just unpleasant. So, hopefully, a lot of that changes in Wear OS. And I've asked companies. Right. Oh, we got a little quick guide in here. I've asked companies like Fossil. Right. Fossil makes a ton of Wear OS watches, and I used to ask them like your hardware is so good. Do you ever get frustrated by Qualcomm and Google for not providing the internal processor and the Wear OS that would make this an actually great product all around? And they give me the PR answer, of course. But, now it's here from Qualcomm, and now we need Google. I haven't actually used this Wear OS. That Wear OS update is rolling out to, I think, just the Sunto 7 right now. But it's coming to more. I haven't actually used it yet. So that's going to be pretty cool. Okay, so let's get this open. You can see it from the box. This is a pretty smart watch. Now let's take a look. It looks like it has two buttons on the side, which I've seen 3. Yeah, okay. So now they did a lot of work on this. Oh, this is gonna be a little. All right. It's got the band is new, by the way. That actually has a sort of orange stitching in there. But yeah, it's thinner, it's lighter. They did a lot of stuff. It weighs 42 grams now, and so that's pretty cool. The one thing I've noticed about Wear OS watches is that they can tend to be a little too thick and bulky, and that doesn't seem to be the case here. At least compared to, this is the Huawei Watch GT2 Pro, and that's the thing. If you want something that's a little thinner and lighter, you usually have to go to something that's a little more like specialized, like the Huawei Watch GT2 Pro. But this gets the job done. It looks nice. It is 12.2 millimeters, so that's like just under half an inch, I guess. But I gotta say, it doesn't feel like it. They did a lot. They actually showed me a diagram, or no, not a diagram. So the word it's a comparison between the predecessor and this, and you look at the two, and it says how much it actually changed, and it doesn't look like that. Like it actually looks much smaller than it actually is, because they made some interesting design decisions here that actually make it look smaller and feel more comfortable. It does have pin charging. We have our little pin charger here. It's not exactly a full size cradle or anything, but not a huge. I've reviewed many smartwatches, and I always say not a fan of pin charging, because it's one of those things where, like, especially if you use this thing for fitness, you might get sweaty underneath, and the pins get dirty and it gets harder to charge. So like that can be an issue. All right, so this should be finishing up. It's setting up in the Wear OS app, and if you've never set up a Wear OS watch before, it's pretty simple. It's a little lengthy, but simple would be the word. You just kind of click next a bunch of times. I also had to agree to some terms and conditions when setting up on the watch, which I've never actually seen before. Usually on the watch side of things, it's actually pretty simple to set up. But yeah, so that was an extra step that I've never seen before. Once it does set up, I assume there will be a tutorial, which every Wear OS watch seems to make you go through, and I hate it. I suppose that if you've never used Wear OS before, it's not a bad thing. But if you've used as many Wear OS watches as I have, it's like, all right, come on, let's get this over with. So the color is called Shadow Black, and I would another name that I would call it is Black. And so we have a silicon strap, which is actually quite nice. It's got some orange stitching in it. I like it. It's a nice style choice. Obviously, it's a 22 millimeter band. You can go and buy other bands if you want. So by the way, you don't have to buy bands from them. You can buy them anywhere. 22 millimeters is a very common size, and you could use any variety of them that you want. As far as internals go, along with that Snapdragon Wear 4100, we have 1 gig of RAM, which is excellent, 8 gigs of storage, 577 milliamp hour battery, and now we're finally completing setup. We just had to click that done button on the phone. It says you're all set. And maybe it won't make me go through a tutorial. Oh, there we go. So you can kind of see how this works. And this is a great way to see how responsive the phone the device actually is. Swipe in from each direction. There's your Google Assistant stuff. It does feel quite responsive. Swiping in from the top will get you your quick settings and such. From the bottom, notification shade, and then we have to tap to expand, tap to close, swipe to dismiss. You can see that I know all the steps already. Swipe in from the right, that's going to bring you to Google Fit, and then we can swipe again to discover tiles. Tiles are pretty cool. It's kind of a quick view information. Touch and hold to view tiles. And we go back. Press button for apps. Press button to go back. Oh, that was a little... It's a little quick there, or a little lag there, I noticed. Enjoy your watch. Now we're good. When we hit the... All right, that's not bad. This is new. This is a kind of a grid view, which is completely new. I've never seen this from Wear OS before. That's super interesting, typically you get sort of just a list view where it kind of has the icon with the name next to it, and you just kind of scroll through it with one on each line. So I don't know if this is coming to all Wear OS watches or if this is a TicWatch thing, but I like it. I'll give it that. I don't know if you can actually. Oh, so yeah, so it looks like you can maybe change where things go, and that's nice. All right. So another thing that I like is that TicWatch or Mobvoi has a bunch of different apps: Tick Exercise, Tick Pulse, Tick Breathe, Tick Sleep, Tick Zen, Tick Oxygen, Tick Hearing. So the thing is, I really don't like Google Fit. Not even. I really don't like it. You have to tap to sign in because, I mean, obviously I transferred my account to to this watch. You would think that I wouldn't have to look at how many steps I have to go through just to set this up, and then now I have to wait. This is, by the way, probably the quickest I've seen it. This is fairly impressive. We're setting heart points, 7,500 steps. No, we want 10,000 steps. Okay, and then Google Fit. We're actually in. So usually I see a couple rings here. Some of the stuff has been redesigned, which is pretty cool. Like I said, we do have a variety of TicWatch stuff. Tick Breathe helps you with breathing. Tick Hearing will tell you if it's loud out. Like Apple has a noise app on the Apple Watch, so this is almost kind of similar to that. Tick Zen will help you calm down. You know, that's going to tell you like heartbeat variations. So I guess I have to log into stuff on my phone to actually set this stuff up. We'll get into that later. There should be a Google Play Store in here somewhere. Oh, so there's a bunch of Fit apps too. That's fairly new. Hand washing tips. That's a new thing. I can't stand the hand washing stuff. On any of these watches, I mean, I'm gonna wash my hands on my own time. All right, you know, you can tell me I can figure out how to do it all on my own. Thanks. So anyway, there's some apps to update. That's a cool thing about the Google Play Store on the watch, that you don't have to have watches on your phone to do it. I do like to go to the on my phone section and make sure that I have everything that's there. Like Google Maps, we definitely want that. Messages, Messenger, OneNote. Yeah, so it's an easy way to do that. And then these things are just going to install in the background, and all the apps are going to update in the background too. Back to those TicWatch apps, by the way. We do have what was it? Tick Oxygen, it's called, where you can check your blood oxygen. That's a feature that just launched in the Apple Watch Series 6. So, you know, it's a fairly big deal. You know, if this is something like one thing that smartwatches are starting to get better at is kind of being proactive about your health, where maybe it can tell you like, hey, your heart rate's been really high for the last couple hours. Is everything all right? Do we need to call an ambulance? You know, stuff like that. And you know, Apple's been playing that up a lot, and I'm enjoying like TicWatch is really quick to get oxygen tracking because not a lot of companies are doing it yet. Tick sleep tracking. Tick exercise, I assume, is just your standard. Okay, yeah. So we have Tick Coach. Evaluate your athletic capacity using your personal and exercise data. After exercise score is given based on your performance. You know, what I'm looking for a lot is just guided workouts, and that's something that like I feel like we used to see it. We didn't see it as much. I'm seeing it more now, but this is like the fitness aspects. Like I would never tell you to buy a Wear OS watch for the fitness aspects, although this one might be different because they have these custom apps. But it's important because like a lot of people are stuck at home. A lot of people can't go to the gym, and what happens is we end up gaining weight, and like you know, so give me something to help me figure out how to lose weight while I'm stuck at home, you know, like or at least not lose weight, just stay healthy. How can I exercise while staying at home? Stuff like that. So we have a whole new UI here. There's a lot of stuff that caught my attention. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed. I don't know how much of this is Wear. Like I have to get that software update on some other Wear OS watches before I even know if this is exclusive to TicWatch or not. By the way, the Wear OS app experience still hasn't changed. It's still kind of, I don't know, clunky. Like it's fine. Like the weird thing about the Wear OS app is that there are some settings that are in the app, and then there are some settings that you have to do on the watch, and like it's kind of weird. I don't particularly care for it. But that's it. This is a really cool watch. Like there are a lot of great Wear OS watches. I like the style of this one. It does have a small raised bezel around the side, which is it's a style. I like what they did with this product. And that's the thing about smartwatches in general. And I've said this because I've reviewed a lot of Wear OS watches, and I don't want to tell you not to buy them because smartwatch is a very personal device. What you needed to do is what you needed to do. Like it's not like with a smartphone or a laptop. Like a laptop, I can easily tell you, it's got a great screen, it's got a great keyboard, great performance. You should buy this, And then there are edge cases. The same thing with a smartphone. If you're buying a smartphone, got a great screen, got a great camera, Snapdragon 865, you're good. It's that simple. Smartwatches are not that simple because nobody's using it for the same thing all the time. You might be using it for fitness. You might just want something that you can tell the time and get notifications without taking your phone out. And that's almost the addicting thing about smartwatches. Like I can't leave the house without a smartwatch on because I can't imagine having to listen for an alert or feel for a vibration from my phone. That's crazy, and like that's the biggest thing: getting notifications without taking out your phone. You may want apps. You may want a vast app ecosystem. So there are, and then obviously if you want those apps, what you're going to use it for can expand from there. So Wear OS has the ecosystem. Obviously, there's a Google Play Store. And then something like Huawei does not have an app ecosystem. You can't install apps on this. Samsung has the Galaxy Store. So, what's the best smartwatch? I don't really have an answer for you because everybody's going to use them in such a different way. So, like I said, I would never tell you not to buy a Wear OS smartwatch. Because, and that's why when I review them, I look at it and say, probably the most important thing is the design. Because this is the thing that you're wearing on your wrist. And you want it to look good, and you want it to do the things you want it to do. So if you want that app ecosystem that you get from Wear OS, and then if you want performance, now you have the performance too, which is great. So that's gonna be cool. I never would have told you to get a Wear OS watch for fitness tracking because I never thought Google Fit was very good. But we have some options on here, and there even looks like there's some Google Fit improvements. So it looks like we have a selection here. You could either use the Tic stuff or you could use Google Fit, which is pretty cool. I mean, this thing comes in at $299, and it's definitely premium. It's like alongside the Snapdragon Wear 4100, you do have that gig of RAM. You have that 8 gigs of storage. This is a problem with the 3100 was you needed a gig of RAM to have a decent experience because there was a lot that had 512 megs of RAM. And they were awful. A lot of times they'd be light and easy to carry. So like that's another thing. If you're looking for fitness, you want something that's light, and you can easily run around with it. It doesn't feel like it's weighing you down. So you might be interested in that as well. Like a smartwatch is a very personal item. So yeah, this one does seem to tick the right boxes. Oh man, this is Gen 3. This is the first one that I've reviewed from TicWatch, and I can guarantee that other people have made that joke. So I'll leave it at that. And so I'll have a review on this in a few weeks. I'm going to write this Huawei review first, and then I'm going to work on this. So that's it, guys. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.